Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. I have mentioned in multiple videos on multiple occasions that one of my goals, my bookish goals for 2022 is to halve my physical TBR. It's quite a big goal actually and a challenging goal, but I thought that perhaps it would be interesting to follow my progress or perhaps lack of progress. My idea is therefore that I, about every 3 months, quarterly, will give you an update on how I'm doing with this goal and just share, I guess, the movement of books, my physical TBR. Today I thought I would chat a bit about how many books I read so far of my physical TBR, also how many books have been added to my physical TBR. Hopefully you understand what I'm getting at, but I'm just gonna chat about how I'm doing with this challenge / goal of mine so far, any sort of reflections I might have, and yeah, my experience, and also a bit of statistics because stats are always fun, right? So at the start of the year, I believe I started off with 100 books on my physical TBR. I'm not certain if it was 100 or 101, but when I've done all my calculations that I will share with you now, it makes sense that it was 100 books. And it's nice. It's a very even, solid number. 100 books as of 1st of January. So the goal is to halve that number of books, which means that I need to read 50 books of my physical TBR in 2022. Considering that last year, when I read over 100 books overall, across all formats, considering that out of those 100 and something books, 36 of them were printed books, physical books, and 29 out of those 36 books were my own TBR. So some books were from the library, some books were borrowed from friends, so on. Considering that, it's actually quite difficult to imagine that I will read 50 books of my own physical TBR because I didn't even reach 30 of my own TBR last year. This is a challenge in many ways. Like the amount of books, perhaps not. I've already read 25 books so far this year. Reading 50 books is not the challenge. The challenge is to read 50 books from my shelves. Books I own, books I have. Because many of the books I read are ebooks, audiobooks, sometimes I borrow books from friends or from the library. I want to get through the books I actually own. Let's start simple. How many books off of my own physical TBR have I read this far this year? So far I have read a total of 10 books of my physical TBR. 10 books in total, a fifth of my goal, I guess. I have read more physical books than that, but I think 1 or 2 were borrowed from the library and a few are rereads that are not on this physical TBR of mine because that physical TBR is solely for books I have not yet read, but since I've been doing the Poppy War read along, I've been rereading the Poppy War, but that's not a part of my physical TBR. 10 books so far, which is like, okay, it's not great, but still I should be down at 90 books on my physical TBR, right? 100 books, subtract 10 books, you have 90 books left, right? Right? No, wrong. Because the issue is that I have, of course, added books to my physical TBR. Voluntarily, involuntarily, accidentally. So let's have a breakdown of the books I've added to my physical TBR. I'm just making things more difficult for myself. First category of books that have been added to my physical TBR, we have the fact that I have purchased books. The thing is, I am low-key on some sort of book buying ban. I have a book buying game that I introduced in February, and I have some rules regarding when I get to purchase a book, and I basically draw prompts for what books I am allowed to purchase. I love that idea, I'm still doing that, but I did cheat. I recently posted a book haul where I clearly stated that I failed, I've cheated, I'm a failure, I purchased books when I was not allowed. Out of the 14 books that I have purchased, only 5 of them were actually allowed to be purchased, if we consider my book buying rules. So 9 books were accidentally added to my physical TBR, I guess. By adding these 14 books to my physical TBR, we're now up at a number of 104 books. So I've already gone back to the number of books I had at the start of the year. Already doing really poorly. Another reason why I have a few more books on my TBR is because I've been very kindly gifted books. I won a giveaway and I also got a few gifts just from BookTube friends. So far this year I've been gifted 4 books, which is so sweet and so kind, and I really do appreciate it. I'll gladly add these to my physical TBR. Like, I'm not upset about these at all. By adding these 4 gifted books, I am now at 108 books on my physical TBR. And then the third and final category of books that have been added to my physical TBR are BookBox books. That's difficult to say, but BookBox books, because I do have an Illumicrate subscription. I adore it. I actually haven't read any of my Illumicrate books so far, which is really bad, but I plan on starting that now in April. But nevertheless, I do have the book-only subscription, and so far this year, January, February, March, I have received 4 books from that subscription. Once again, I do love it. I want to keep up with it. This is something that I kind of didn't take into consideration when I announced this goal of mine to halve my physical TBR. I didn't consider that I would add at least 1 book every month because of my subscription. Also, this subscription is not included in my book buying game. It's an exclusion to that. It doesn't count. It's not a part of that because I just love having this subscription. I'm gonna keep it and it's not gonna affect anything. It's doing its own thing, but obviously it still keeps adding books to my physical TBR. So by including that third category of added books, I am actually at 112 books on my physical TBR. We've gone from 100 books at the start of the year to 112. And this is also where I get a bit conflicted. Like, is my goal to read 50 books because that was half my number of books at the start of the year? Or is my goal to halve my current number of books, or like my max number of books, I guess? I'm not certain, because if that's my goal, I need to read 56 books now. I have no clue. Basically, my aim is to get down to about 50. If I do that, I will be very pleased. A final thing that needs to be added and considered when doing these calculations is that I've actually decided to DNF some books. So in my previous video, I had a catch-up vlog, and I also shared 5 books that I'm trying to DNF. So I'm trying to sell them off right now. If I can't sell them, I will donate them or something. I still have those 5 books with me currently because I have not sold or donated them yet, but I'm not considering them to be a part of my physical TBR anymore because I know I'm not gonna read them. So those are actually 5 books that I can subtract from my physical TBR. So we're going from 112 books to 107 books, which is still more than I started the year with, but still better than 112, right? I'm currently at 107 books. Yeah, you can't really tell that I've done any progress because apparently I haven't. First of all, I just really enjoy considering the stats of this, like what I've been gifted, what I've added myself, if I've DNF'd anything, what I've read so far, so on. If we once again consider how many books I've actually read, I read 10 physical books in 3 months. That is about 3 books every month, approximately. That's not too bad. That is definitely a pace I can keep up with throughout the year, I'm fairly certain. So if I were to continue reading these 10 books every 3 months, 3 books every month sort of thing, that would mean that I would read 30 more books in the next 9 months from April until December, and that would total my number of books read of my physical TBR to 40. At the current state of my TBR, it would bring me down to 77 books, which still isn't great and is nowhere close to 50 books. Realistically, I feel like I can get down to like 70, 80. Realistically, if I'm keeping the pace that I've been reading my own TBR at. But what I need to read in order to get down to 50, which was, I guess, my first goal. As I said, if I end up somewhere between 50 or 60, I'm gonna be very pleased. If we say that I need to get down to 50 books on my physical TBR, that means I need to read 57 books in the next 9 months, and that is approximately 7 books a month. It's not an impossible number of books to read in a month. I've done that before. So like 7 books a month is not necessarily impossible, but 7 physical books of my own TBR is quite difficult. I think it's good for me to make this sort of video because it does make me feel more motivated to actually reach this goal and do this and read books of my physical TBR, because I keep saying The reason I want to do this as well is because I'm fairly certain that I have some amazing books on my shelves. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought them. I probably have a bunch of 4 and 5 star reads behind me. So that's why I do want to read these books. But the thing is, I very rarely purchase books that are short. Most of my books are at least 350 pages, I would say, which adds another challenge as well because I have a lot of chunky books and those take longer to read. One thing I could do, but I'm not really considering, is actually to listen to audiobooks of my physical TBR. But first of all, that sort of me just defeats the purpose of this challenge, I feel like. If I own the book physically, I want to read it physically. Otherwise, I would not own it physically. It would probably be of great help for me in this challenge if I just started listening to my physical TBR, but as audiobooks. But I'm not gonna do that. One thing I know that many people do is that they listen to an audiobook and read the book at the same time. So like multitasking or something. I know that many say that it helps them to get into the story more, but for me, that's just not something that I'm that interested in doing, I guess. I don't know why. I should try. I know I should try to listen to an audiobook while at the same time physically reading that book, because I know so many love that experience, but it's simply not something that interests me. So yeah, perhaps I'm completely off regarding this, and I know, like, feel free to argue for why I should try this, but I really do want to, like, if I own the book, I want to read it. That's also the challenge for me. Do I have anything else to reflect on regarding this? If we just have a look at the 10 books that I have read of my physical TBR, what have I rated them? Is it good for me to do this challenge? Do I have a good TBR shelf or not? Okay, Rage of Dragons was a 5 star. Jade City was a 4 star. And Every Morning The Way Home Gets Longer and Longer was a 5 star. Iron Widow was a 4 star. The Alchemist was a 5 star. XOXO was a 5 star. The Love Hypothesis was a 5 star. Desperate Measures was a 3 star. City of Ghosts was a 3 star. And The Comfort Book was a 3.5 star. That should be it. I'm gonna put up like the average rating out of those 10 books now, but I feel like it's pretty good. Was it 4 or 5 books that were 5 stars? That's really good. That's really, really good. So like that, this is just proving my point that I probably have great books on my bookcases. So of course I should try and prioritize them and read them. Another thing to add is that I think my most recent video was all of the books I'm currently reading, and those are of course included in this physical TBR because those are not books I've completed, but I own them, so I'm still like working through them, and I have quite a lot of books as my currently reading. So I should probably try and prioritize those more, because once I actually read them, I can also take them off my physical TBR. Let me have a quick look at how many books I'm currently reading that are my physical TBR, because if I can actually get through them, I'm gonna make so much progress, and I'm like a third or halfway through most of them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry, I'm laughing because it's War and Peace, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of the 13 books I'm currently reading, 9 of them are of my physical TBR. So once again, if I can just read those freaking books, I'll knock off 9 books of my physical TBR, which will bring me even closer to my goal. This is working great. I'm mainly motivating myself to actually focus on this challenge. I think that's what I need. I need some more focus, I need some more determination, and just like self-discipline to pull through. Wouldn't it be the most amazing feeling if I actually managed to do this? If I actually read over 50 books of my physical TBR this year? That would be incredible. That would be so amazing. And like if the majority of the books on my bookshelves were books I had actually read, that would be mind-blowingly amazing. That is indeed the goal, and now I'm just more excited about this challenge. So hopefully my update for the next quarter, probably in July, I will actually have made some progress compared to now, when I've just been going backwards. But we're gonna have to see. A lot can happen. Books are going to continue to be added to my physical TBR. I'm not gonna stop that. I'm gonna keep purchasing books. I might be gifted books. I'm gonna keep getting my Illumicrate books. So yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens, but I'm at least gonna try and make an effort, and that is the main thing. So that's my update for how I'm doing with my year-long challenge of trying to halve my physical TBR. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Please take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes.